This video is sponsored by nobody, because nobody wants to sponsor a video about a movie that doesn't exist. But here is the thing, Warner Brothers, the company that owns DC, literally spent $90 million on a Batgirl movie. They filmed the entire thing, hired Michael Keaton to come back as Batman, and then just decided to not release it.
If you were looking forward to that new Batgirl movie, forget about it. Movie has tested so poorly that the studio behind it calls it irredeemable.
This is probably the most insane decision in Hollywood history. It resulted in tons of backlash, government investigations, and everyone asking the same question. How bad could this thing possibly be? I'm going to show you exactly what happened to Batgirl and why we'll probably never see it.
Batgirl, oh.
The journey of Batgirl started way back in 2017 when Warner Brothers were desperately trying to fix their DC Extended Universe, which was already falling apart. Batman vs Superman disappointed critics.
I understand.
Suicide Squad won an Oscar for makeup but got destroyed by reviewers.
What?
So they decided to focus more on female-led superhero films, because that was trending at the time. Wonder Woman had just crushed it at the box office and they wanted to capitalize on that momentum. So they started developing several projects centered on female characters. Harley Quinn, Supergirl, Wonder Woman sequels, and of course Batgirl. Initially they wanted to include Batgirl in the Birds of Prey.
You're Peach. Hey, I know that guy.
But she didn't really fit the tone, so instead they decided to make a separate solo Batgirl film. At first they hired Joss Whedon to write it and direct it, the same guy who made the Avengers. But this was right after Justice League where he directed, and the movie not only flopped at the box office but also got terrible reviews. Let's just say his reputation wasn't one of the best anymore, and Whedon couldn't come up with a story either, so he left in 2018. So Whedon was out, and Warner Brothers hired Christina Hodson, who wrote Birds of Prey and was currently working on The Flash, to create a new script, and brought in directors Adil and Bilal, who had just revived the Bad Boys franchise.
What's up, I'm Adil. And I'm Bilal. So we're the directors of Bad Boys for Life.
These guys seemed perfect for the job. They knew how to handle action, they loved the character, and they had that fresh energy the studio was looking for. The script they developed was actually pretty interesting. The mother of Barbara Gordon, who is Batgirl, gets killed in an arson attack when Barbara is just a kid. And 15 years later, she's investigating a new wave of arsons trying to find her mother's killer. The villain Firefly, who is played by Brendan Fraser, is this tragic character, a former firefighter turned arsonist, who worked for the mob burning buildings for insurance money. Now he's broke, his wife is dying, and he's slipping back into crime.
You've got some sympathy to them, you've also got some humanity to him, and on top of that, a screw loose, because, you know, he's a bad guy. But is he really, like all the best bad guys, you kind of like him a little bit?
Yes.
That was this role. And
Great role.
J.K. Simmons came back as Commissioner Gordon, and the film was supposed to explore his relationship with Barbara outside of his job as police commissioner, showing the domestic father-daughter dynamic where he's protective and worried about her getting involved in vigilante work, which we rarely see in superhero movies. There's this whole tension where the commissioner has worked alongside Batman for years, but the moment his own daughter wants to put on a costume, suddenly he's not so supportive anymore. And Michael Keaton's Batman shows up as a mentor figure, helping Barbara become Batgirl and teaching her the ropes, while also dealing with the fact that he's older now and maybe considering retirement, which gives the film this passing the torch element. It was supposed to be grounded, gritty and character focused, the exact opposite of those overblown CGI spectacles that were bankrupting DC. For the role of Barbara Gordon, DC executives tested 4 actresses: Isabella Merced, Zoe Deutsch, Haley Lou Richardson, and Leslie Grace. And they chose Leslie Grace.
I want to formally congratulate you.
Thank you.
You are Batgirl.
Yeah.
She had just started in the Heights playing Nina Rosario. She could sing, dance, act, and had this genuine charisma that made people believe she could be an actual superhero. Grace prepared for months of physical training, learning fight choreography and working with stunt teams. She was also learning how to ride a motorcycle because Barbara is described as a biker chick in the film. The movie was originally planned as an HBO Max exclusive, not an actual theatrical release. The budget was supposed to be around $70 million, which is pretty modest for a superhero movie. They filmed from November 2021 to March 2022 in Glasgow, Scotland, which was doubling for Gotham City. Everybody on set seemed happy, the directors were posting behind the scenes content, Leslie Gray showed off her new costume, and it looked like everything was going smoothly. So if everything was going smoothly, why didn't they release the movie? See, in April 2022 something big happened. Warner Media merged with Discovery, and the new CEO, David Zaslav, came in with a completely different vision for the company. He wanted to cut costs, refocus on theatrical releases, and basically undo a lot of the streaming first strategy that the previous leadership had implemented. So in August 2022, Warner Bros. Discovery announced that they were cancelling Batgirl completely. The movie was in post-production, it had been filmed and edited partially but not fully finished with visual effects. And suddenly it was just gone. They weren't going to release it on HBO Max, they weren't going to put it in theaters, they were literally shelving it forever. They held one private screening at the Warner Bros. Lot just for the cast and crew, so at least they could see part of what they worked on, not even the full movie. They saw the director's first cut, they said it didn't look very good. The cinematography was poor and the overall feel was akin to a television project rather than a major blockbuster, and was just not releasable.
But the thing about it was screened in a garden variety test screening. It was the director's cut, first cut. It wasn't finished. I mean,
Right.
I don't know about you, but I don't eat half-baked cake. I don't want to see something that's not ready yet. And the sad thing is that I don't know if it was judged on the merit. It wasn't shown in the best light that it could have had been. I mean, yes, once you give a film to the people in the world, yeah, it's open season to criticize it or praise it or whatever you want. But this didn't even really get a fair shake.
But the main issue wasn't that the movie was bad. It wasn't amazing, but it was definitely decent. And if they finished it, it probably wouldn't have turned out that bad at all. The real problem was money. They likely needed about 10 million more to finish the film, and it was already over budget by about 20 million on a planned 70 million budget. On top of that, they would needed another 20 to 15 million just to market it. From Warner Bros. Point of view, this was just a business decision. They didn't want to take the risk or treat it as an artistic choice. They just didn't care beyond the money.
It was kind of, I don't really, I think it was a business decision. I'm going to assume it was a good one. I really don't know.
So Warner Bros. Actually decided to use this as a tax write-off. That basically means they told the government we lost money on this. By doing that, they could lower how much tax they had to pay. Think of it like this. If you buy something expensive for work and it doesn't pay off, you can claim it as a loss and get some money back at tax time. The studio did the same thing, just on a massive scale.
First of all, congratulations, Mr. Krabs.
Hello, I like money.
The thing is that once they do that, the movie's legally dead. They can't release it later without facing huge financial penalties. That same year, they also cancelled Scoop Holiday Hunt, a $40 million animated sequel for the same reasons. They removed a lot of content from HBO Max, laid off hundreds of employees, and basically stripped the company down to cut debt and make the numbers look better. In April 2023, 4 United States lawmakers actually wrote a letter to the Department of Justice, asking them to reconsider the Warner Bros. Discovery merger. They cited the cancellation of Batgirl as evidence of potentially anti-competitive practices and accused the company of hollowing out an iconic American studio. Peter Safran hinted that the character will eventually appear in the new DC universe that James Gunn is building, but it won't be Leslie Gray's version, it will be someone else starting from scratch. So yeah, that's why DC deleted a $90 million film, because sometimes in Hollywood the most profitable decision is to make nothing at all.